It's a cold, sleety, windy day up here in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. And as you can see, there's no action going on with the evaporator. Nothing's boiling up. Come on, take a walk with me into the woods and I'll show you why. Now, if you look, you can see the pop bottles that we've got hooked up to these trees. If you look real close, they're just, the bottoms of those are just frozen too. But the good news is, day after tomorrow, it's supposed to get warm. Or is it tomorrow, Mark? Tomorrow. So we'll be dumping slush into a bucket because it'll start thawing. It'll be slushy. Once it's slushy, we can get it out of that bottle. All right, I brought you to a familiar place in the woods so you would know what we're talking about. The reason why you haven't seen any videos of me doing the maple syrup is because the weather's not cooperating. This is what happens when it's below zero, or not below zero, but when it's below freezing. Let me get that straight. When it's below freezing outside, all you end up with is pop bottles that have got some frozen sap in it. And if I had like regular receptacles, I'd be able to just pour that in and boil that up anyway. But because they're in pop bottles and that's that big and that top's that big, that's where it stays until it thaws out. So okay, come on, I'll show you some more of the woods.
Well, as you can see down here, those big root balls, we lost a few maples this summer when the wind shears, they call it wind shears, it looked like a tornado came through. But this is back in our woods, probably almost a quarter mile from the jack pines by the house, that we lost about 70 of those. But these blew over. You can see the root balls up in the air. Most of the soil here is just sand. This is really sandy area. It's bad for tree roots. It's great for well water. But I'll end up cutting those up with an Alaskan chainsaw and we'll get some lumber out of them. Well, this sugar maple here is about to go over. You can see the root balls up in the air here. I've tapped this tree repeatedly. It's kind of being held by another tree there and being pushed by a tree here. And Connie's got a tree directly over her that's an old tree. That's a stump to stove tree. But this tree will probably come down this year sometime.
Okay, I think it's time for me to move. Now this is a rotten poplar that's out. It's still standing. It's actually not completely rotten. It's dead. But you can see that the woodpeckers make a wonderful feast out of this. And you also see some fungi growing out here. But they're really doing a job on it.
Okay.
These are hazelnut bushes. The squirrels usually get these before we do, and they need them. That's a different variety of birch tree. And as you can see, they're starting to shed their bark. This tree right here, if you notice, it's a birch tree, but it's got more kind of a brownish amber yellowish color to it. That's called a yellow birch, and they say that that has a wintergreen flavored syrups, that makes a wintergreen flavored syrup. So we've got some more of those on the property, and I've been thinking about just doing those alone by themselves.
Well, last August I came home from work. They let us off early because it was storming, and I came home and there was all these trees down, and I couldn't get through the driveway. There was trees covering the driveway. There was 18 trees on the garage roof. And then I broke my leg later on, so I didn't have time to clear all this out. So I'm going to be a busy boy this spring and summer, probably even into the fall, clearing all these trees out of here. This is the front as you're coming off the road into our property. It's quite the mess.
So we took a little walk through the forest. I hope you enjoyed that. I wanted to show you a few things and explain to you why we're not going to be burning the maple syrup up right now, boiling it up, because it's frozen. So it's supposed to warm up tomorrow. I'll see you soon.